Thank you all for coming, and I think we're going to get started now. Usually give it 5 minutes, but it's been 5 minutes already. So once again, thank you for coming, and today's session is going to be on assistantships. We try to make this presentation as easy and as efficient as possible. There's very few slides. It's only about 8 or 9 slides. That's all there is to it. The application itself is quite simple. I just want to tell you how this works. Also what kind of packages are available, etc. And then there will be plenty of time at the end for questions, okay? So I'm gonna get started here with the following. I want to start by telling you what kind of assistantships we have. I think you have heard from your classmates, from continuing students. There have been a few changes just in terms of the names, but the packages remain the same. And I just want to go through that quickly. All these figures that you see here are on a semester basis. So the first category that we have are teaching assistants. Once again, this per semester, it carries a total financial package of $20,000 per semester. You're selected for one of those. And they're divided into two different things. There's a $15,000 tuition credit that is actually credited directly to your student account, and a $5,000 salary that is paid to you throughout the semester on a bi-weekly basis. That's the first category. The second category is readers. That's the new name. That's what we used to call DRA instructional. The packages remain the same. The positions remain the same. The responsibilities associated with those positions also remain the same. Readers are basically students that are working with faculty, assisting them in courses. It carries a total package for the semester of $10,500. $8,100 is tuition, $2,400 is salary. Same thing, the salary is paid throughout the semester, and the tuition is credited at the beginning of the semester. The next category are PAs for faculty. And these are basically what you now know as DRAs in concentrations and specializations. They just have a new name. They're called PAs, faculty. The package is the same as it is for those who have those positions now. The only thing that changes the name is the same, $10,500 as the previous one. And then we have two more categories. We have PAs for administration, which is what we always call PAs. These are students that work in offices, in our office, Office of Admissions, alumni, etc. Package remains the same, $10,500 for the year, $8,100 it's tuition, and $2,400 it's salary. And lastly, we have course assistants, and they are assigned pretty much at the end of the cycle. You do not need to apply for these positions, and the total package for those is $6,000 per semester, $4,700 tuition, $1,300 salary. By the way, all of this is online. In case you haven't seen it, it is there. We sent an email yesterday with a landing page on our sync where this information resides, as well as the application itself. So the first thing that I want to, not the first thing, but an important thing that I want to mention is that there are two separate applications. Same thing as it happened last year. There is an application for fall positions, and that includes all the previous one that I mentioned. And there will be another one for the spring. Excuse me. The one for the fall position opens today at 4 p.m. and it ends a week from today at 11:59 Eastern Standard Time. I say that because this session is being recorded, and some of our students who are abroad, they need to understand that the deadline is New York time. It's only a week, but you will see the application is quite simple. Once you apply, we'll get back to this in a second. By February 3rd, we will go through the process. Faculty will make the selections, offices will make the selections, and you will know by April 24th whether or not you have been assigned to one of these positions. The application for spring positions will not open until March 23rd, the day after the deadline for pass-fail, by the way. The deadline for that will be March 31st. We will be sending reminders before then, so you need to retain this. memorize it right now. We'll be sending more information. And the results for that will take place in June. The main reason is that a lot of these positions involve TAs, and faculty want to wait until they have your grades for the spring semester. So feel free to apply for positions for courses they are currently taking. You will not be at a disadvantage because you are taking the classes, because you will be on the same boat as everybody else. But once again, those elections will not happen until the spring semester grades are in. What do you need to do in order to apply? Well, the first thing is you need to be eligible to apply. What it means is that you must be in good academic standing. And what that means is that you need to have at least a 3.0 GPA. Excuse me. And that, for most of you, is the grades that you obtained during last fall. Okay, it's really that simple. Also, once you have been assigned an assistantship position, you must be enrolled at SIPA on a full-time basis during the semester in which that position will take place. For example, you're selected for a position for the fall semester, you must be enrolled as a full-time SIPA student. Then the same thing applies for the spring. Before I get here, I want to show you just what the application looks like and why this is rather simple. Once the application opens, a lot of the information is self-explanatory. It's just your personal information. Will you be enrolled full-time in SIPA fall 2017? If you're applying, the answer should be yes, but we still want to make sure, and we leave in that choice to you. There is the information, your uni, etc. And then there's a number of boxes right there with the different positions available. As you can see, there's one for the TA positions, readers, etc. And basically the only thing you have to do here is select the position or positions in which you're interested and click submit. It really is that simple. That's all there is to it. Once you apply, you're going to get a notice on the screen that says, thank you for your submission. But in addition to that, you're going to receive an email on your uni, or our uni, that would look something like this. Dear Nina, these are the positions for which you apply. Make sure that they are correct. If they are not correct, you can submit a new application. But when you do, you need to be sure that all the positions are included, because we will only be taking into account the latest submission. Okay? But it really is that simple. I mean, all you have to do is go to the landing page for the assistantships. There are 4 links there. This is the information that we sent you yesterday. One, there's a link for the application itself. There's also a link for the job descriptions. So each one of these positions that are listed on the application has a particular job description associated with it. Some faculty, for example, may want to select a TA only if that student took their particular class and obtained a certain grade. Some of them have slightly different criteria. So just make sure that you apply for those positions. There's no penalty in applying for more than one position. You don't have a limited number. You can apply for as many as you think you qualify for. And the same thing goes for positions in assistantships in offices, concentrations and specializations. Also, a question that often comes up is, so what happens once I apply? What will happen is the following. The application will close a week from today. We collect all the information, clean the data, we will take your latest submission, and then we will send your information to each one of those faculty or offices in which you express an interest for the application. They, in turn, will review it, and based on their own criteria, will make their selections. There are offices and faculty that choose to interview students. Some of them do not. Typically, that information is contained within the job description, but if you have questions, when you look at the job description, there's also the number, not the number, but the name of the faculty member or the person in charge of hiring for those positions in offices, and you're free to contact them if you have specific questions. But once again, interviewing for a particular position is optional. Something that happens pretty much every year is the student come to us or send emails and say, you know, my roommate applied for this particular position, he or she is being interviewed, I am not, why? And the reason can be one of two things, either because that position is not really interviewing, or because they decided that your particular credentials do not fit their criteria, or they just simply haven't gotten back to you. That's it. I want to leave enough time for questions. There's not really much to go over the mechanics of the application. I think that the questions come up from the